Hey guys, Sherjan here, your personal mentor. So in life, we get a lot of opportunities, a lot of different opportunities, and these could be professional opportunities, could be personal opportunities, choices that we have to make on a daily basis, monthly basis. And a lot of times what happens is, you really don't know if this is the right choice for you. Like, is this something that is going to be good for me in the long run? So what I did this year, and this is the first year I did this, and it's actually been working pretty nicely for me, is I made a list of things that I love to do and things that I hate doing. And when I made that list, it was just, from my heart. I didn't even think too much about it. I just made a list in the beginning of this year and wrote down, 5 to 10 things per item, like per things that I love and things that I hate. And I just wrote them down and I said, let's see what happens. The benefit of making a list like that is, whenever I had a choice to make. So let's say, I had an opportunity that came up, or there was a business venture that I was, was exploring or looking into, or even if I was like, hey, do I want to hang out with this group of people, or do I want to go on a date with this person? Like, in all of those situations, I always thought back to that list. And if, let's just say the choice was that, hey, this is going to be something that I hate doing, it was a very easy decision for me to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And at the same time, if it was, let's just say, it fit into that bucket of things that I would love to do and things that I would just be passionate about and naturally would be excited to do, then I doubled down on it. So today I want to talk to you guys about why you should make that list and how you can make that list. And also I'm going to show you my list so you guys can kind of mimic it. And then I think the goal should be, and we'll work on this together, is we'll make this list on an annual basis. So at the beginning of every year, we'll make this list. So I have my list here with me, and I'll put it up as well so you can also take a look at it. And I'll kind of read to you what are some of the things that I've put on my list in terms of things that I love to do and also things that I hate doing. So this list that I have here, I put it up or wrote it down on January 1st of this year. And obviously that was a very different time because right now we're going through COVID and all that stuff. But having said that, you should make a list. And even if it's not January right now, which we know, make a list for yourself. So let's start with the things that I love to do. So my first thing that I wrote down was motivating people and helping them. Then it was like sharing my thoughts, way of life, and convincing people, which is why this YouTube channel exists. And look, I mean, it comes to life when, like, for example, I had made a decision about, like, hey, should I start this YouTube channel? And then I thought back to my list and I was like, hey, where does it fit in? Does it fit into things that I love? Yes, it does. So let's do it. Building things was another one. So that was, something that I love doing. I've built a bunch of things in the last 6-7 months. Finding hidden opportunities, right? So that's always exciting to me. Getting into places I don't belong in, and that's exciting to me as well. If you guys know my story of breaking into Morgan Stanley and Google with a low GPA, that's kind of like my passion, and I always love to find hidden doors into exciting opportunities. Making money and spending it on people that I love, right? So that's something that's interesting to me, and it doesn't mean I want to be rich, but I love spending money on folks that I love, my family, or on dates or whatever. Consumer over enterprise is another thing. I enjoy consumer businesses more than enterprise businesses because consumers are people and I love hanging out with people. Hustling to find the edge. I think that one's key. You gotta always kind of scratch the surface and push the platform and go beyond the platform. Getting things and ideas into motion. I'm a big believer of not just sitting on ideas and planning them. I always love putting them into motion. Getting or being the right-hand person for someone that I admire. This brings me back to, when I was back at Google or Morgan Stanley, I always had a mentor or a coach within the company who was my guiding, light, and they would kind of guide them or be my, big brother in a way. Obviously, I don't have someone like that right now because I'm an entrepreneur, but, that's something that I miss. Thinking outside of the box where there's no path from point A to point B. So I love those kind of environments that are not very structured. That's kind of like what I love. Then I have living a healthy life, both physically and mentally. So this entire year, I haven't skipped a single day of working out. I've run 5 miles every day. And mentally, I focus more on getting more sleep, eating healthier, being around positive people. Oh, and then the last one, it says being around positive people. So those are the 13 things, right, that I think are things that I love doing. So the more I can do things that are related to these kind of 13 things, I'll double down on them, and I'll always say yes to those opportunities, say yes to people who are involved in these kind of things. All right, so things that I hate doing. So that's the second category. Things that I hate doing, number one was working on projects I'm not passionate about. So no matter how much you want to pay me or what the return is, if I'm not going to be passionate about it, I'm definitely not going to do it. Working with structured people. So there's a lot of people who go by the book and they're follow all the rules in the book. Not my style of person, so I wouldn't work with folks like that. Environments with red tape. So that's kind of related to the point I mentioned earlier. If there's an environment which says, hey, you can't do this, you gotta get permission first, or hey, this is not how we're supposed to do these things. We have a certain way of doing them. Not for me. Might be for other people, just not for me. Working with people who have an ego and take life too seriously. Now, this is important to me, and this I think falls into also dating. When you go on a date with someone who just thinks they're super amazing and God's gift to earth, or they take life too seriously, where they feel like their job at one of these firms that they have is the best thing ever. Not the kind of person I want to be around. Then I have another one which says lipstick on a pig projects. So there's a lot of companies that have come up recently, or ideas that have come up, which are just a bunch of nice branding, but there's no value underneath the hood. There's no business model, there's no fundamentals that are missing in that business, but there's a lot of cool fonts and nice colors. Those are called lipstick on a pig projects. So I try to keep myself away from them. Exclusive and unapproachable people, avoid them. So someone who acts like they're super VIP or just thinks they're better than other people, not my kind of person to hang out with. Places where I cannot be myself. That's what I hate the most. If I can't be me, then I don't want to be there, right? So there's a lot of companies or folks or parties that you can attend, or groups of people you can be part of where everybody acts a certain way and acts a little bit exclusive, and you have to kind of fit in and change yourself to fit in. Not my cup of tea. Environments that lack creativity. Another one that I can't be a part of. If you're going to be a plateaued environment where there's no excitement, there's no growth, not for me. And finally, the last one I have here is things that I hate to do is being around pessimistic people. So yes, there's a lot of negatives in life and stuff, and if you're always going to see as a glass half empty and not glass half full, then that's not where I want to be. So anyways, guys, so that's kind of like my list that I have built in terms of things that I love to do and things that I hate doing. And what I want to do is I'm going to make this list every year, right? So at the beginning of every year, I'm going to make this list. What I am forecasting, and this is just an assumption here, is that I think every year the list of things that I love doing will become smaller and smaller. And the list of things that I hate doing and just don't want to do is going to become larger and larger. And I feel like as we get older, and this is a little bit morbid to think about, but as we get older, on the last day or the last year of your life, if you make that list, you'll probably have only one thing, and that's probably going to be you want to live. So that kind of sounds scary and a little bit disappointing. But anyways, point is that let's not wait for the last year. Let's start focusing on current years and where you're at right now. And I think the benefit of this is it allows you to focus, right? Allows you to focus and make quick decisions about opportunities and experiences that come towards you, and you can quickly decide if that's something you'll love or if that's something that you hate. So anyways, love for you guys to make a list of your own. Put it down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Obviously, we'll come back to this every few months, actually in a few months from now, and we'll do one for 2021. But anyways, that's my list, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Take care. Thank you.